Are we live?
I think so.
Hi everyone. Welcome to HeyGen's webinar. My name is Chloe, Solution Engineer from HeyGen, and joining me today is Ryan from our sales team. Ryan, do you want to
Everyone,
give yourself?
yeah, thanks for joining. Looking forward to going into some of the details on the interactive avatar product today. That's the main focus for today's conversation. If you're not interested in interactive avatar, there are other webinars that you can find on our community page that are more focused on our other products. Just as kind of like an intro to HeyGen, we've got three main products: the video translate product, where you can transform MP4 files into new languages. We've got the Avatar product where you can use our AI Studio to create avatar-based videos, and then we have Interactive Avatar, which is a avatar that you can talk with in real time, and it'll respond back using a knowledge base and using some of the modern technology like LLMs to power the brain, and our lip sync model to power the kind of interactive experience. There's other stuff under the hood as well. We'll talk about getting an interactive avatar set up, some tips and tricks that Chloe has picked up on over the past couple months, working with some large enterprise customers as well as some smaller, more innovative, high tech companies. So yeah, this should be a fun one. Chloe, would you add anything to the intro?
That's a perfect intro. Thank you, Ryan. So let's get started.
Great.
So, like we mentioned, we have a series of events running on our community website almost every week. And today's focus is mainly about guiding you through how interactive avatar works and what do we have in terms of functionality wise and how you can integrate with it. So, if you go to our homepage, let's get started. So, hopefully, our internet's working today. What you are seeing here is the landing page of once you sign up at HeyGen. This is what you see. This is some of the trained interactive avatar that we display here for use cases, for example. So what interactive avatar is, it basically allows you to give your user a lifelike, real-time, highly engaging, like interactive avatar. It can be one of our public avatar or it can be your digital twin. So here you can see different use cases for L&D compliance training or for even interviewing, customer support, that instead of having your customer support running 24/7, you can actually have an AI avatar running to support and answer questions given based on the knowledge base around all things about your products.
Yeah, can I
And
can I add something there, Chloe? So just
yes.
a couple other cool use cases that I've seen. One that I think is really neat was for tax season this past year. One of the maybe the largest tax assistants actually rolled out the interactive avatar to assist users with navigating the tax payment UI, as well as answering some really simple questions that were not tax advice, however, tax suggestions
Yeah.
on how to use their product. A couple other ones that I find really cool. The most common one is certainly training like a learning assistant inside of a training module or something along those lines. That's very
Mhm.
common. It's the interactive avatar is really good for that mock conversation, whether it's like how do you negotiate or how do you interview or how do you maybe learn a new language. We're seeing that type of back and forth mock scenario become probably the maybe 80% of the use cases right now, training on something new. And then one that I kind of find amusing, but also pretty cool, is there is a private school in, I think it's New Zealand, maybe it's Australia, that's the middle school.
Mhm.
They're using our interactive avatar to help parents kind of navigate how to use the online portal / the website. Brand new school, they're tech forward, and they're using interactive avatar to kind of serve as a like a parent advisor for the school. So all sorts of fun use cases across the board for interactive avatar. This is our fastest growing API product, and we've been making a lot of progress on it, as we'll show today. So back to you, Chloe.
That's exciting to hear about. So I've seen those use cases in a lot of like L&D, mainly to make the education or training more engaging to the especially like students. And I will show you like different ways how you can embed either through a redirect experience or host it our embedded code on your website, or either like talking to our API directly from your server and running on your website. So quickly touch point on the list of public avatar that we actually hire professional to shoot it in a professional setting in the studio. And you can leverage those public avatar, or you can either like create your own custom avatar. If I simply click any of this and start chatting with this Annie, you can see here that this interactive avatar, it's multilingual, can support up to 178 languages that we support today. And like Ryan said, this can be a great use case when you are trying to educate users for language learning or educational purposes. And here it's where you can toggle and select the list of knowledge base that you are creating in your HeyGen account. Here I have a list of pre-created knowledge base for language learning, for either about like HeyGen SDR. We train the SDR for ourselves, and even learn about interactive avatar, a more, I would say, technical and knowledge domain. Like Ryan mentioned, this can be like something about how to guide users filing their tax form, which has higher level of learning curve. Does it make sense to you? Any question here?
There's quite a few questions coming in from the chat.
Let's see.
If you go within the private chat inside, Audrey's sending them over. I'd actually love if the folks in the audience could share some of their use cases that they've been building in the chat. We'd love to see them.
Okay, let's see. First question is, do you have to have enterprise level to set up an API with HeyGen with FUB to use my CRM? Can you discuss the new version updates? What are the new features within the interactive avatar? And can you please share a time frame for when the interactive avatar moved from labs to fully supported production? How do you integrate with your interactive avatar on my website and answer questions from my real estate clients? So, Brad, do you have an answer, or I can take it?
I can take some of these.
Okay.
All right. So on what's the time frame for interactive avatar to move from labs to a fully supported product? I think it's there. It's still technically a labs product because it really is like a different product experience. But it's the reason that we put it in labs is that our labs product, the goal for those products is to cross, for them to mature out of labs means to cross $1 million in annual revenue. That was our original goal. The interactive avatar has just blown that out of the water. It's well beyond that. However, we've just kept it in labs because it is kind of a separate, unique experience from other web app users. So in terms of resourcing internally at HeyGen, it is getting mature resources. We've got full-time engineers working on this 24/7, 365. Maybe Eddie wouldn't say 365, but he's very, very, a lot of engineers are working on this product specifically. So I'd say it's out of labs now. It's officially a real product. However, just keeping it in labs is like it's kind of its own unique spot within the web app. Let's see. I'm not sure what FUB means. That's as a non-program. I'm not sure. Do you know what he's talking about there?
I actually don't know. Within this context, it sounds like it's asking about integrating with their own CRM to be able to embed the interactive avatar into their workflow for real estate clients, consultant maybe. So it is doable. So we've seen a lot of customers embed this interactive avatar into their own website or even the mobile app for different kinds of purposes. I will show you different way of integrated through either API or SDK. Yeah.
Cool. Let's continue forward on setting this up. And yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
Blair.
So I will just quickly finish up this demo, and then we can talk through the Q&A at the end to make it more clean. So what you are seeing here is one of the public avatar, and there are different ways you can embed this. You can collect this embed button and select the knowledge base, which you want the avatar to talk about. And this will serve as the domain knowledge or the contextual information that this avatar will pull from the LLM behind the scene. And then once I select a language, you can then copy this code to be embedded into your front-end HTML page. Or you can simply select share and then copy this avatar link, which had this knowledge base component, and you can simply embed this or share this redirect link to your either email workflow or directly on your website. Does it make sense to you, right?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Okay. And now knowledge base is also pretty straightforward to set up. I have a list of knowledge base that I created. You would just give it a name, an opening intro for your avatar to start with for each session. And here is what I really like about it. In addition to give it a full prompt to the LLM behind the scene, you can also give it any useful links to any website that you want the avatar to learn from, to grab the additional information from. So in this case, for example, DocuSign, I create this knowledge base. I give it a full prompt of the persona, instructions of how to interact with the users, et cetera, guidelines about how to have a conversation with the users. I also give it additional website, which links to the current DocuSign support article to talk about certain features. And so your user can have more technical and domain knowledge around DocuSign's product. And we also give you tips to how to properly prompt your interactive avatar. And a rule of thumb is that the higher quality of the prompt that you're given to your LLM behind the scene, the higher quality of the output that your interactive avatar will have. So behind the scene, HeyGen is providing this avatar, this visual layer, and lip syncing all the STT and TTS model, but behind the scene will connect to large language model. So think of interactive avatar as a user interface to your ChatGPT, so to speak. So prompting is very important in this aspect. Feel free to chime in if you have any question or you think that anything worth brought up. And in this tab, third tab is you can see different ways of integrating this to your workflow or your product. If I click on the API, this is mainly our current set of streaming API that you can leverage to embed the interactive avatar to start a streaming session. Yes, so I think a good way to demonstrate is I will actually running on my local host. Let me share my screen real quick. Sorry, stop sharing, share tapping instead.
And Chloe, while you pull that up, do you know anything about our latency improvements? How do we talk about this internally? Obviously, the product is getting faster,
Yeah.
but do we have any recent stats on the latency improvements?
So we are actively looking to improve the latency, and of course, it's the core thing of the entire interactive experience. And as far as I know, we are in the lab session, we're upgrading to Gemini's 2.0 Flash-like model, which has way better latency performance than previous model. Around the newest latency will be around 200 to 300 millisecond, as compared to 700 to 1,000 milliseconds on average. Yeah.
So almost 3 to 4 times faster.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
and then we've also, one of the big improvements that we recently launched was the ability to interrupt the avatar in a more kind of organic, natural way. You want to just talk about that briefly now?
No. Which one are you referring to?
The interactive avatar interrupt the
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, actually, let's share that real quick. So the most recent avatar that you will create in this lab session, you will leverage our latest model. For example, if we chat with Brian, not sure if you can see.
Yeah, we can see it.
Not sure if you can hear it. Oh, okay. Looks like we have additional new feature that allows you to select voices, which you created in the HeyGen. Hi, Ryan. Tell me about yourself.
Hey there! I'm an interactive avatar here to help you explore HeyGen's features. I can chat, answer questions, and guide you through the process, you know? How can I help you today?
Ryan, can you hear it from the audience?
I can, yeah.
Okay.
Didn't catch that. Some noise there. Could you please repeat your question? I'm all ears.
What do you know and how can you support?
I know a lot about HeyGen's interactive avatar. I can explain how it works.
So as you see, like it with the newest model, it can actually detect.
Yeah, as you can see. What part are you most interested in learning about first? We can go over the core features or maybe how to get started.
I think because we are streaming this in real time, so there is latency because of the network. But you can feel free to play around with this in the labs. The point we're trying to convey is that it now has better, smoother experience when user interrupt with the avatar.
Yeah, the interruption's way better. The other thing that is very obvious.
Yeah.
This product's maybe a year and a couple months old, and it's no longer just like the robotic streaming voice similar to this. It now has like normal human responses in kind of like a sort of in a real way. I'm trying to mimic the human responses there. Like it literally said in the middle, and it's still like I like it. It's really good. It's become so much better. It's still a little wonky sometimes, but hey, you know, humans are also wonky. I sit next to Chloe every day, and there's some wonky moments from our co-working space.
Yeah, that's also another like beauty of the new model. It actually adds in more pause word and filler words to mimic the real, like make it more lifelike. Yeah, feel free to play around with it and ask it for jokes or anything that are human like.
Okay, Chloe, one of the repeat questions from the chat here, and I have the same question, is how do I make the avatar smarter? That's how I'm going to summarize this. But really the question that like the underlying question here is I want to connect it to my ERP or CRM database so I can access specific information and respond beyond the basic data. And it wants to be able to and respond beyond the basic knowledge base and respond with specific data. For example, checking a client's status or retrieving custom records. Question the follow-up question there, is that possible with the SDK? How can we make this thing smarter?
By smarter, you mean like make the avatar more knowledgeable. So
That's right.
think of the avatar as the faces, the visual layer, and behind the scene, the brain is really the large language model. We support our default large language model with GPT-4 Mini, now it's Gemini 2.0. And of course, it allows you to connect to your own custom LLM, like other large language model that you want.
So if I connected, like how do I connect my Salesforce to the knowledge base?
So
Can I do that with in HeyGen, or do I have to use that or do that in OpenAI?
So there's a way that you can directly integrate with OpenAI real-time assistant and then talk to our streaming API that's more customized to build it. To answer your question about how to pull data from Salesforce, so you have to export the data from your CRM like Salesforce and then store it in maybe in the interim database or somewhere, and somehow pass that as the input to your large language model, or talk to OpenAI real-time assistant and then connect to HeyGen's streaming API for the real-time streaming.
Okay, so the actual crunching of the data would happen between the database and OpenAI API assistant, and then the response there would then be fed through HeyGen's API.
Exactly. So the output of the response, the output of your large language model can be fed into our streaming API through tasks repeat type.
I think this is common for folks to like. I hear this pretty frequently, meaning that people want or think that this is going to be done inside HeyGen's knowledge base, but it really is kind of done elsewhere. And then the response from the elsewhere application is fed to HeyGen, and HeyGen's API then streaming real-time API streams the response. So there's like a separate application that would have to be set up for it to go beyond using just the HeyGen knowledge base for responding. And I'll say like in terms of maturity of this product, the very basic version is setting up a knowledge base, very basic. But to use this in production, this is where a programmer would likely be involved to set up the secondary application so that it has the right data beyond just the kind of basic stuff that you can add to the knowledge base. So going from demo to usable in production oftentimes does require a programmer. So that's what would be my recommendation there. All right, there's another question that I have for you, Chloe, coming from the chat. Voice consistency. How do I select two things? One, the voice using the API, and second, the language that the avatar will respond in.
Okay, let's go over that.
And there's a request to stop sharing so that they can see us.
I wouldn't say today's latency is not ideal because I'm like sharing the screen and then the network, and then this is a real-time streaming. But it works better if you try it on your environment, I guess. So here you can create voices within this session, within the assets AI voices, and you can generate voice by giving it a prompt, or you can upload your own voice for instant voice cloning, or you can integrate what we call bringing your own key to integrate with third-party vendors like 11 Labs here to import the voice. And after you creating your voice, you can simply copy the voice ID and then plug that into your interactive avatar. So your avatar will start speaking in this voice or tone, in this language that you selected, in the emotion of the voice that you configure.
Okay, so inside the HeyGen web app, under the AI voice on the left side navigation panel, you can find the HeyGen library or create your own new voice. Select the voice ID. Now what do I do?
Okay, now this is what I was trying to demonstrate. Should be able to see this. No. Let me share another tab. This is actually an example implementation of our streaming SDK. Like we said, you can embed this part into your website. And so I select the avatar ID or input a custom avatar ID. I select the language I want it to speak in. I can also give it a voice ID, like you would just copy from the HeyGen web app, and give it a emotion that can be serious, excited, smoothing, or friendly. And down here, we also allow you to select different STT, speech-to-text vendors that we support. By default, we use Dipgram. I know right now in the lab session, we are moving to the newest vendor, which has auto-scaling, better performance in terms of latency. And this demo will be updated accordingly as well.
Wait,
so once we
before you go forward there, so could you scroll back up here?
Yep.
Where do I put my voice ID in that I just copied? That string
here.
Right there, custom voice ID?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And so that'll take that voice that I selected from the web app, put it in here.
Yeah.
And then you can select the emotion and other kind of sub features underneath the voice. But now we're going to use, I think it was a British woman possibly. We're going to use the British woman's voice.
British woman voice.
I'm not sure what the actual voice was from the web app that we copied the voice ID, but whatever we copied, that's going to be the voice ID there. And she's going to be excited. And the language right there is the important part, English. There was a question on, is there a way to select, what was the question? Let's see.
Locale?
Yeah,
accent?
like Australian or British English.
Yeah, so that will be configured within the voice itself. Let me share that real quick.
I see.
Switching back to another screen. So here you can see that.
Okay.
Let me go back to my own space. And then, so you see, like when I create a voice, I can select a language. And I can select, for example, English. I wanted to select different accent, Australia accent for English, by choosing this 11 last multilingual V2 model, which does better performance in terms of like picking up the accent of the language. Does it make sense?
I think so.
Then, yeah. And so you would, again, copy paste the voice ID and then configure the interactive avatar.
Okay, and those saved settings carry over.
Exactly. And that will be or carry over into this voice unique identifier. So if we start chatting with this, let's see.
Hi, I'm Anne. Happy we're here together. It sounds like something has caught your attention. Can you share a little more about what feels weird for you? I'm here to listen and help you process it.
So two things. First, it's speaking in the male voices because I configure it with the voice ID that I choose, which is a male voice. And secondly, this avatar in this demo, it's a little outdated using our previous model. Has a better job in like picking up, in detecting the interruptions. So you can see that he keeps speaking, even though I was interrupting. Tell me about what you know and how you can support us.
Oh, man,
Absolutely, I would love to share. I specialize in positive psychology, which is focused on what makes life worthwhile and how we can enhance our well-being. My approach is centered on listening deeply to your experiences and emotions, providing a warm and empathetic space where you feel comfortable expressing yourself. I can support you by 1. Active listening. I create a safe environment for you to share your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing you to explore what's on your mind. 2. Gentle guidance. Through thoughtful questions, I help.
Okay, pretty good. Now we're getting a flood of questions around voice quality. I think this is an important topic in general. So voice mirroring got launched in the web app. People might have saw that on our keynote. There's also director mode where you can control the kind of emotions and inflectuation, etc., of the voice. And the questions that we're receiving are the basic version of it is how do we get the voice to be more human-like, I think is the right way to phrase that within the interactive avatar experience. Because we now have those features live in the web app with voice mirroring, which just to point out, that voice mirroring is not available in a real-time scenario. That's a kind of offline async voice and fluctuation change. But are there any tips that you have, Chloe, on getting the voice to be more lifelike? I can start off with one that I always recommend. If you go back to the HeyGen web app, this is probably the most important part of the starting of the voice. So the input of your voice clone, your custom voice clone, is the most important thing. You do have to play around with. This is an art. You're probably not going to get it on the first try. Meaning that if you create a voice clone of yourself, it's and you use, let's say, like an iPhone, and there's background noise, your voice clone is going to be poor. It will be guaranteed. The better, like for example, I've got a $100 microphone off of Amazon that I use for my voice clones, and it took me maybe 10 tries to get the voice that I like. Meaning that high quality camera or high quality audio equipment is really important to capture great audio. Second, I'm in a quiet setting, and then third, on the input, meaning when I talk into the microphone for recording my voice, I do have to kind of be a little bit extra excited and give some emotional fluctuation in the input recording, because like what we do is we take, let's say you upload 2 minutes, we take those 2 minutes and we transform it into one voice clone. So the range and emotion that you input over the 2 minutes will be the range of emotion that you get for your voice clone. So you kind of have to have a range of emotion inside of the voice clone. And what I like, the way we've always talked about this is, if you want kind of 80% excitement, you have to do a voice clone of 100% excitement, because it will dilute the emotion down by, let's say, 20%. So this is the first step into getting a good voice clone is the actual recording. It's garbage in, garbage out, quality in, quality out. So quality camera, and then quality performance in terms of the voice input, emotional fluctuation. That's my first step, or my first tip. Chloe, can you elaborate on that? Anything you'd
I
add?
think you had a perfect summary. So it's really like in that 2 minutes of your voice input, it's how we use that as a sample to train a model that to produce a voice clone of your real voice. So all of that features about your voice emotion, your sound are all captured within that 2 minutes. So the better of the input, the better of the outcome that it will be. That's my gist of it. And research have showed that the voice quality within the visualization or the interactive avatar really impacts a significant amounts of how user feel about that avatar.
I think
So
it's probably 80%.
yeah, 80%.
I mean,
So
it's so important. The voice quality is so important. If you get a robotic voice,
yeah, if you get a robotic voice and then it's like male on the female, it just feels way off, right?
yep.
Thanks,
There are some questions in here on LiveKit and how do you integrate with LiveKit. Maybe could you just explain LiveKit a bit and then talk about the latest?
Yeah, so LiveKit, we use it for real-time streaming connections. So behind the scene is using WebRTC, but LiveKit is just a better version of WebRTC. We're using their SDK. As of now, I know we are currently evaluating other vendors as well to compare the vendor different performance of different vendors. Using the streaming API, you can directly leverage that LiveKit SDK behind the scenes. So overall, it just provides better latency and faster quality in terms of streaming out all the audios back and forth. Did that answer your questions? Do we
Let's see if
want
there's
to go?
anything else that comes in on LiveKit.
Yeah, so you will see this is the streaming API integration that I mentioned. This is using LiveKit behind the scene. Following the guide, as a new joiner, I was able to write a few functions within this. For example, create a new session by calling HeyGen's new streaming API and start a session, and then connect to a LiveKit room, which is a room. It's an object to store all the data, media data, within a connections, within a streaming session. And then down here, you will give the task either send text directly or audio to the avatar and close session afterwards. We also have a GitHub repository that show you how you can build this.
Cool. All right. Call for questions. Please post them. We are happy to answer any questions that you might have. The questions that come for the interactive avatar vary so much. It's always pretty interesting. All right, here's one. Can you create a motion avatar with gestures or an animated interactive avatar? If yes, please explain. Thank you. All right. I can actually talk about this one.
Yeah.
All right. So this is I'm gonna almost parrot what I said for the voice, meaning garbage in, garbage out, quality in, quality out. And the question's probably stemming from some of the announcements that we made at the keynote, where you can now control gestures of the avatar. And this is the avatar that is inside of the HeyGen Studio. And again, this is more of an async type of interaction where you, as a user, using the AI Studio, you would create a video, add an avatar to that video, and then be able to control the gestures within that video. And that is, again, a separate product to Interactive Avatar. And the gesture control technology has not made its way to Interactive Avatar yet. I mean, ultimately, we would love for that to be the case, where not that you can. I mean, right now it's prompt to gesture control. You have to tell the avatar when to make the hand controls. Yeah, but in the future, we see a way that we can have the avatar do hand gestures based only on the text or the script that it's saying. And so in an ideal state, and we talk a lot about this internally at HeyGen, the interactive avatar would not need to be prompt because it's real time, it's synchronous. So instead it would just be based on what they're saying back. So for example, if you have 3 recommendations, the hand control would be 3, but it doesn't exist today. It's all hypothetical. And the Eng team would say, Ryan, you should not talk about that on the live stream because we do not have it yet. But we obviously would like to get to that point. So the answer is no, we don't have gesture control in interactive avatar yet.
Yeah, but I'm sure we will eventually feature pairing what we offer in the core product.
There's been a couple questions on seeing the chat history with interactive avatar.
Oh yeah, so you can do that. So if the question is about whether you can export the chat history from the streaming session.
I think maybe you could just broadly touch on where do you find chat history?
Yeah, so you can go to our streaming avatar SDK reference here. And down here, it should be able to leverage 2 functions to export the chat history. Yeah, so I think you can, this is one of the event type that we offer in the streaming SDK. So you can trigger this event and export the message that Avatar was speaking.
And then also, Chloe, if you could screen share the HeyGen web app.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
in the labs underneath the interactive avatar, if you go to the integration guide, there will also be a usage history right above or right next to the API token. Middle of the page there.
Oh, usage history.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you'd be able to see usage history here. All right. So there's some limitations. Like this will be the log of the interactions with the avatar. However, this will not allow for you to view the session. I'm pretty sure we cannot view the sessions.
What do you mean by use session?
Like if I'm the developer behind an interactive avatar and it has a 5-minute conversation with somebody, can I go and after that conversation ends, can I then go and view the 5-minute session?
Like reuse it?
Oh, just watch it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think we.
But you can export the entire chat history, like the back and forth between your user and the avatar.
So you could see the transcript. You could see the transcript. Okay, and that would be you would do that using the API.
Yeah, that's using the SDK that I just showed you. Okay,
great. So this is logs of the interactions, and then to actually get the transcript, not the video version of it, but the transcript, the text dialogue, you could export it using the SDK.
Exactly. So this page, what Ryan mentioned here, it's basically show you how your credit is being consumed for the different kind of session. We also have an endpoint, allows you to retrieve all the historical session if you wanted to manage it for some purposes. Do we have other questions? See.
I think that probably concludes it. Cool. Thanks, Chloe. I think we might have went viral for the mismatching voice.
Thank you, Ryan. Thanks for joining.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for the questions, and feel free to join our office hours, because I know there's still some questions that we didn't cover, but we are at time. Chloe, can you talk about office hours?
Yeah, so we actually run an API office hour dedicated for builders, for developers who have tried out our API product and have specific debugging questions, which we can answer. And then it's every alternative Wednesday. It's next Wednesday, the same time, 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you have specific question around our API, happy to answer there.
Cool. And with that, have a great rest of your, what is today? Wednesday. Thanks, everybody.